All right, guys, I'm going to tell you guys about being a side dude taught me about married women. So I'm gonna tell you right now, just a whole disclaimer right now. I'm not saying it's cool to be doing stuff with men's wives and all this other stuff. I was young. I was around like my early 20s around now. I'm 31 now. Of course, I could look back on that and be like, dang, yeah, it was this way, a certain type of way. Yeah, it was kind of messed up. But it taught me a lot and it was a learning experience. And I want to share that with you guys to give you some perspective on the thought process of women when they're married and they're dealing with the side dude and being the side dude and showing you guys my perspective in this type of space. So anyway, getting to the subject. What being a side dude taught me about married women is that they don't give a damn and that marriage is just only a title and it's only meant for like security and stuff like that. When they marry for security and when they marry for money, you will know it. You will know it. Me being in this type of situation literally showed me that chicks just don't give a fuck. They don't respect you. They don't respect the provider. They don't respect the guy that they see as the provider that they don't have any like real sexual attraction to, but they're there for the security. They don't respect that. They appreciate it. They like that the weight is lifted off of their shoulders a bit and that they can be spoiled and all that stuff. But there's a big difference between appreciating and respecting. There's a big difference. See, one of the situations I was in, I was being like two of these situations, two and a half. I could say two and a half because the other one was like in a relationship, but she would say that they was, it. I don't really count that one. That's kind of iffy. But she was kind of in a relationship, so I kind of count that a little bit. But anyway, these two for sure was married. So the first one was this chick was like to the point where she would just literally make up stuff and say stuff to her husband to make him mad in order to come and see me. Like she would start arguments, literally start arguments with him to come around and see me. She would come and get like a motel. This is how it went. She'll be on the phone with me and she'll be telling me about what's going on. She tired of him and all this other stuff. Is the usual spill, telling me how he done messed up for the week. That's another thing too. They will tell you everything that's going on in the marriage and all that. And if it wasn't for this, I wouldn't be with him. If it wasn't for that, she was literally saying, and everything that she mentioned, if it wasn't for, it had to do with financial. She wasn't even really caring about any of his other types of attention or actually him as a person or him understanding her or none of that stuff like that. She literally just married for the fact of security and the fact that she could just deal with him a little bit. It was to that point. She was literally just tolerating the guy. So what she would do, the usual routine would be she would just start something with him, have an argument with him, and she'd be like, okay, I'm on my way. And that's how simple it was. That's simple, bro. That's simply how simple that was, bro. And it was just crazy to me because I'm like, bro, she literally started with argument with him. Come over there, uh, buy a hotel. We over there chilling. We do our thing or whatever. We smash. Me back then, I didn't really care. I ain't wasn't thinking about none of that other stuff. I'm thinking like, man, I'm just dealing with this chick and I ain't gotta do all this other stuff. All she do is like vent to me and spend time with me and actually like doing stuff with me, doing stuff for me. So the money that she was literally getting from him, she was spending on me and going out of the hotels and food and all this other stuff, and pretty much being a big freak in the bedroom for me. And it dawned on me too is that it's about the attention. And it's not about like them not getting attention from their husbands and be like, oh, because they're like busy and stuff like that. And a lot of these cases, it's not the attention in and of itself per se. It's about who they want that type of attention from. Let me give you an example. Say, for instance, I married a chick that I wasn't really that attracted to, but she does everything for me. And, she financial, like the flip side of this. Like pretty much saying a woman that was being my sugar mama and I just married her, right? Because, dang, the money long and, she does everything for me, right? So, yeah, she'll take me on trips and stuff when, she'll probably do little stuff for me, but the attention that I would want to give to the woman that I'm truly attracted to, that's who I would want to do that with. If I don't want to be on the trip with the chick that's doing the providing and that's giving me all the the attention. Like I'm not that sexually attracted to. I'd rather do that with a woman that I'm sexually attracted to. You see what I'm saying? So it's not the same. It's not about the attention of them being too busy for the woman and all this other stuff. It's about them not even wanting that regular attention from their husbands. They don't want that sexual attention from their husband. Their husbands don't scratch that itch for them physically, emotionally, mentally. They don't stimulate them like that. You see what I mean? So they don't, and the fact is, they don't want that to stim. They don't want that stimulation from that person. You see what I mean? So you know how they say they have the women have the food guy, the guy that does this, the money guy, the food guy, the emotional support guy, whatever that little roster of guys that they get different things from. That still doesn't change when they get married, especially when they are married for that reason right there. When they're married for like security and stuff like that. See, me being a side dude, it literally taught me that because she was there for that, but she came over for me for something else, and she was getting that sexual attractive itch, and she was always talking about how fine I was and all this, and she showed me by giving me some all the time. She showed me by coming to see me all the time in his trucks. You see what I'm saying? So like it's crazy, uh, crazy. Come over to my hotel room. My job offered me hotel stay one time. It was like a time during like I think it was a time I was working at the hospital and they gave us some type of lodging for a little while because something was going on. So let's just say that she came by, but one of my coworkers knew her husband. So she was trying to be, it just taught me how slick they are. She waited until he went into the bedroom, like to his room, and then came down. She told me, hey, look outside to see if you know how slick they are. See, me being older now, I didn't know like the extent of how, crazy this could have went. All the investments that the husband made, and he had a big house, had all this, and he got so much invested into this, and I'm just getting the cream of the crop from your wife that you're giving everything to. You know what I mean? And she don't really didn't like having sex with him. Like every time she would have sex with him, she would call me almost like she was in shame of having sex with her own husband. Think about that. Think about that. She was like, man, I just had to give him some. I hate having to give. Like she literally told me how she really hates having to give him some, which is insane. So being a side dude taught me that, bro, like a lot of these times, if you're not seen as sexually attractive to these women and they're not with you, they're not all over you in these marriages, they don't want it from you all the time, bro, like it's a problem. It is a big problem, and they will search elsewhere. They will search elsewhere. And bro, I'm gonna tell you right now, they are very slick. You will never catch them. You will never. I never got caught for this. Never got caught with all this other stuff because of how the precautions he took, how far she went to cover her tracks with all this. It was ridiculous the extent that she would go to make sure that none of this stuff would come back to her or none of that stuff like that. So it would teach you the fact that the extent that women don't give a fuck, and it's about the attention it's about the person they want that type of attention from. So even if the husband was to go on there and try to make everything all jazzed up and light the candles and try to set the mood and stuff, they don't want it from him. They don't want that from him. You see what I mean? The part of the contract that they signed in their head and their mental was that, okay, you're providing, and okay, we're here, we do it from time to time. That's why I like chicks, like when guys be in these marriages and the chicks have a lot of stipulations and they weaponizing sex and saying, oh, we only do it this time and do it this time, bro, that is transactional. That is purely transactional. If they're weaponizing sex to a guy in the marriage and they're saying, okay, you're only gonna get it this time, or you're only gonna get it this time, or always nagging and stuff like that, and she not all over you, because when she come over and we used to go in the hotel, she was all over me, bro. All over me. Well, I couldn't wait to come and grab on you. I couldn't wait to come and do this. Automatically going down and doing all kind of crazy stuff. You know what I mean? So it's almost like we can't even get through the door without her just, being all over me. But it would seem that she would give that type of attention to her husband, but that she don't want that from him. Because think about it, if she walked through the door to her house and he hugging all over her, she probably gonna be like, man, get the hell off me. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of this stuff have to do with who is coming from. And if they don't see that dude, the provider dude, like I say, they appreciate him, but they don't respect him. They don't respect the fact, okay, because in their head, they got to come to the reality that, okay, they settled. They settled for the paper, and it looks good on paper, like to other chicks. Oh, yeah, you got your man, they got you money and all this other stuff. But to them, it doesn't cover all the needs. It don't cover all those needs, like when they land up and now they got to go and have sex with this man that they are not attracted to at all and all this other stuff. See, that's the part that dawns on them. It looks good on paper when they out there, and the other chicks will be like, "Oh yeah, yeah, I see, yeah, you got the money," and the other chicks know why the girl is with them too. The other chicks know why, but that's the craziest part about this whole thing. And this other situation, I'm gonna tell you how bold this chick was. This chick literally had like this little program, right? And what she would do, I was messing with this chick, and she was doing the most. Like, bro, she's crazy, bro. She crazy bold. So what she did was she had like this little like nonprofit company, and she had like these shirts made, and she had embroidered shirts. She made me like one of the leaders of one of the nonprofit organization that she had. She had my name embroidered in the shirt and all this other stuff. So mind you, I am smashing this chick on the regular, and she's married. And she's married. What she did was she had me come up and meet her husband and introduce me as I forgot the position, actual name, one of the I wouldn't say a CEO or COO or something like that. She almost like second in command to her, to the nonprofit organization that she started, had me looking all business savvy, wearing a shirt and everything, had me shaking this man's hand and all that. So now she just defeated the whole purpose of, okay, if she's seen with me, it doesn't look so suspicious because she's already did the introduction. So that's how she's covering her tracks, and she's bold. So the more of a sucker they see you as, and see that guy as, I would say, the bolder they'll get, which was absolutely insane. I was against it at first. I was against everything. Oh, okay, you know what? I'm young. I'm in college at this time. I'm young. I'm wilding. So I ain't really give a damn about all that other stuff. We wilding, period. But the craziest part is she made me meet him. So now that just defeats every purpose. Now we can be out together. We can do all this other stuff. Like, she was being bold, like literally taking me out on dates and all this other stuff, talking shit about him, like he can't get up and all this other stuff. Like, I'm telling you, they will air out every little thing about the husband, bro. I promise you. I promise you, they will air everything out about the husband. Every discrepancy in a relationship, they finna tell. They talking cold cash shit about these guys, bro. He can't get up, or we can't do that. Oh, he can't do this. He can't do that. That's why I come to you. I don't never have no problems with you. Never have no none of this with you. None of that. Like, it's about the time they want to spend. And another thing that got me with this is, that's why I like that they treasure that. I know that they treasure the time with you as opposed to just the time with their husband. Because remember, they can spend the same type of time with their husband, but they don't treasure his attention. They don't appreciate his attention the same way they appreciate your attention. You see what I mean? It's about who it's coming from. I just, one thing that always keep it in your head. It ain't about the deed itself. It's about who the deed is coming from. That's the biggest thing, and it just taught me right here. And the point that I'm getting to is that, like, when they got to the point where they would try to get like make stipulations for me, but in my head I'm thinking like, I know for a fact that you can't sit here and make any obligations for me when you're married. But you got to understand, in their head, they're in a relationship with you because they value your attention. They value spending time with you over than with their husband. So that's why when you're dealing with a chick and she's married and you feel like she ain't got no headway to be trying to make it seem like, I can't talk to no chicks and I can't do what this. You got to remember, they treasure you over the relationship that they're in. So that's why they be acting all like, oh yeah, you can't be doing this, and they be tripping on you and stuff like that. And even though they might be laying right next to their husband in their bed, but they tripping on you in a text thread because they value your attention over that man's. They don't want that type of attention, but they don't want to spend that free time with them. They only want to spend time with him when, okay, the fact that they're secure, okay, they got the secure, they secured the bag by having, the marriage. So now they can take half of it, even though something go crazy. But, they got the financial boulder lifted off of their shoulders. Okay, but all this other free time they got, the sexual time and emotional time and talking and all that, they really don't be wanting to do that shit with them. They don't be wanting to do that with them. They'll stroke their ego, give them some from time to time and all this other stuff. They got to play their part to stay in that position, and they do it well. They do that very well. And the thing is, the part of being on the outside looking in shows me how crazy it can get, how slick they are. And the audacity that she has to say that she don't want me talking to no other girls, saying, oh, yeah, what you doing right here? I'm talking about asking me what I'm doing tonight, what time you getting in. And it was starting to get that crazy. Damn, they're giving me an ultimatum, acting like you got control when I'm the one with the leverage in the situation. I don't have to talk to you. You're the one with the baggage. You the one got the husband and all this other stuff going on. But remember, the reason they coming at you like that is because they value your attention over his. I had to come down to that. I was like, why do these chicks that be married be acting like they obligated to your time and all this other stuff? Like, why you acting like we together and stuff like that? In their head, you're together. Understand that the more time you spend with a chick, no matter what label they try to put it on, you can be like, oh, we just chilling, friends with benefits. And some of them can play it cool, but you got to understand, women are extremely emotional creatures, and that doesn't work for long. That don't work for long. You smashing a chick and you spending time with a chick and all that, bro. They take it deeper than you think. Now they'll play it off as okay, yeah, we just chilling and all that other stuff. But best believe there is a time clock on that. I know that every time, even when dealing with my sugar mamas and all that stuff, we were like, okay, we gonna be cool and yeah, we just doing this. We know this what we got. But sooner or later, that ultimatum come, and it can come from a married woman. Think about this: getting an ultimatum from a married chick. But I'm like, okay, then you finna lose your husband and come over and be with me? No, I need my stuff. Okay, then how you gonna start doing that? And then you always be going back and forth with that. So that's how those situations usually ended up ending for me, because I'm like, okay, you're giving me obligations you haven't trying to have these obligations for me, but you laying next to this motherfucker. So like, what you gonna do? You gonna leave your husband and come and be with me and stuff like that? You know I can't. Okay then. So it taught me that they'll have the audacity to try to give you have obligations for you and try to give you ultimatums, even though they're the one with the baggage in this situation. So not only are they crazy slick and you will never catch their ass, they have the audacity to try to control the situation that they're not even supposed to be in the first place. It's crazy. The kind of shit that I went through as a side dude. So I'm just telling you now. You can say what you want to say, you can believe what you want to believe, but I'm telling you, if you're not that guy to her, she will search elsewhere. Believe that. Believe it. It is what it is. So whether you believe me or not, I'm telling you, if she not all over you, and it seems like sometimes they'll give you some too. They'll give you some, and they'll ask for a big gift later and stuff like that. They be doing that for their husband too. So they'll think that the husband, you see, that's how they fool them. That's a big delusion right there. That's a manipulation tactic. They'll give them some, and then afterwards they'll ask for a big gift or a big trip or a big handbag. You know, it's always a big transaction. In these situations, I didn't spend any money. Think about it. I spent no money. This man is making, these men are making all the investments. They doing all this other stuff. It's like I said before, it's like it's like they're the ones going to the wedding, have to, stay through the whole ceremony and all that other stuff. I just show up to the repast. I mean, I just show up to the reception. I just show up to the reception and party and I leave. I don't have to go through all the planning and all the other stuff like that. That's what the married men have to do. All the side do, I just got the party aspect. I just got the cream of the crop. I'm basically the one that was waiting at the finish line, and I got the glory for not even doing any of the work that they did. So understand that, like, that's what I learned from being a side dude, bro. They will go out their way. They don't give a damn. They will tell you. They will talk so much shit about these guys. They will tell you everything that they're doing wrong. They'll, sometimes they'll try to feed you go by saying they finna lead them and divorce them. They got me. It been times I done smashed a chick. I done smashed one of the chicks, and she was talking about, dang, you hitting it so good. You got me thinking about divorce. Well, get out of here. That's crazy. That's crazy. But remember, they clinging on to it because it's their financial crutch and all that other stuff. So it was just weird to me. It's something I just wanted to share with you guys because, like, yeah, I know a lot of you guys be like, hey, don't touch married man's wife, and I don't recommend it. Now that I look back on it, I'm like, yeah, I was wild and I was tripping, and I was young. Shit could have went left. Shit could have went left real quick. It could have turned up real quick. I don't encourage none of you guys to do this, but I'm just telling you guys, like, this is the extent that they will go, and just be very cautious, especially if you're trying to take a chick seriously. The vetting process has to be real deep these days. But anyway, it's your boy Noto back in these YouTube streets because your boy won't miss a beat. Remember, guys, anybody can improve themselves if they want to work at it. I'm out.